I'd like to call to order the Public Works and Economics Committee. Members are Mrs. Ramos, Mr. Rippeth, myself, and our alternate is Mr. Simley. We have two items to discuss tonight. The first one's going to be just kind of a housekeeping. It's an ordinance to approve, adopt, and enact the current replacement pages to the codified ordinances. This is something we do every year. You know, we get the replacement pages and we have to enact and adopt. Is there any questions from committee?
I have one.
Yes.
Have they moved entirely to electronic, or do we have to get paper?
Well,
We were just talking about that, actually,
Okay.
and like we've already said, like law director for sure would definitely have to have a hard copy for his office. And I'm pretty sure the mayor would want one for,
I still have one too.
Yeah, in the service department,
yeah.
yeah. Me, not necessarily,
Well, maybe
because
the
I do
at least the
everything
service director have one on
electronically.
hand and stuff, so at least we'd have to do
Yeah.
two, but we could look in, instead of getting the 10 or 11 that we get, and
I could, if anybody still wants a hard copy, let me know. If you don't want a hard copy and you just want to go online, and it's pretty easy to access the codified ordinances online.
Easy online.
Yeah.
a lot easier than that book.
Yes. So
For us, not for the law.
that way it would save money
Yeah.
too. So I could do that for next year.
Chris, you have a.
Just for us newbies, and can you, you said this happens every year.
Yeah, it's a company
Like
called
give a-
Water Drain, and actually they merged with another company, I have it on here. But there's two companies merged, and what they do is they go through all the Ohio dot, or Ohio, all their, and they go through anything that we've updated or changed, and then they put it all together. And it used to be, every council member used to get one of these giant books, and we would get the replacement pages and put them in. Well, as of right now, all those giant pages, they just sit in Julie's office. Unless
I
somebody-
hand them out, yeah.
Or at my house.
Or, yeah. So, like, what they were saying is basically finding a way to where we wouldn't have to get all those hard copies for all of us, because we don't use them anyway. I mean, it's pretty much everybody just gets online and looks at the codified ordinances mostly. But like, I can see like with law director, he'd have to have the hard copies in front of him, I would think, or he would want them anyways and stuff.
I like the hard copies because I don't think that our online one is that user-friendly.
Yeah.
You literally have to scan through everything and flip through pages to get to it. I can look at my hard copy and flip right to the section that I need.
That you need, right.
And then I can go online and go to where I need to go.
And mostly if I have any time like that, a lot of times if I had questions on them, I'd refer to you anyways.
Yeah.
About like, well, what about this one? Did we, do this? And you would always have the answer for it and stuff, so. But that,
Can I add?
well, I'll just finish the question to Chris is basically, we didn't actually do this is 2 years because we must have let it slip last year. We didn't get it done. But it's usually, I think it's right around, we don't have the invoice yet, but it's usually about $8,000 a year. And that's a lot of that was the hard copies of what we paid for all those. And if we would just get it to digitalize, we could get them, was it $100 a piece
$100
or
for
something
the
like this?
CD.
We can get that price down pretty drastically, and keep one for the service department
That'd
and
be
one for the law director, and I think that would get our bases covered. But in the meantime, right now, like, we don't have an invoice or anything, so that will have to probably have a separate legislation for when we pay that bill, when that bill comes in. But right now, it's just basically approving and adopting the current replacement pages and codified ordinances. It's just,
Yeah, thank you.
Cheryl?
Oh, I just wanted to say for the new council members, when, Dan knows this, when we first got on council, we had this huge green book, still in my house. And every year we got these replacement pages. You had to go through and rip out the old ones, put the new ones in. And so just finding everything online is so much easier
But
for
I-
me. Control F, So,
I agree with
that's
Walt.
why we're talking about, if we save money especially and get just,
Maybe
electronic.
focus that money to like
What
what
we
the
can.
law director's saying is come up with a better system to where we can keyword things and,
But I had a question. Those discs you mentioned that we get, I don't think I have one of those.
We get one.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? If you need a copy, I'm sure we would be able to
I
get
just like
one
to
for
see
you.
if it's very user-friendly and it's easier to and I don't have to flip
The
through
search.
stuff,
I
then
can request one for you if you would like.
Probably see if Larry can do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see the disc and see if it's, how user-friendly that is, and
I mean, it's just, we just get a PDF, correct?
Mhm, And he uploads it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know
And,
something.
and you new council members, it's just, what you're seeing here is an update of state law
Yeah,
that we include in our codified ordinance book.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion to add 24?
I'll move that we add.
Okay, Cheryl moves to
I would
add.
second that.
And Steve adds it, we're gonna add it at tonight's agenda. And hold it for 3 readings.
Is that a resolution or ordinance?
It's an ordinance 24, proposed ordinance 24. We'll take a vote. Mrs. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Rip?
Yes.
And I'll vote yes also. Next thing on the agenda was proposed ordinance 21, which is sanitation rates. This was basically just from our last meeting, we agreed that we just wanted to make sure we got it in front of us, see it before we would do action on it and add it to the agenda. Is there any questions on that? Everybody got to see it? All right.
I still would like to see a tiered rate system move towards that way,
Okay.
and a dollar increase.
Any other questions on proposed ordinance 21?
None.
Seeing none, is there any action to be taken on proposed ordinance 21?
I would move that we put it on tonight's agenda for first reading.
And do we have a second? I'll second that. And we'll take a vote. Mr. Ribbeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos?
No,
And I'll vote yes. We voted 2-1 that we add that to tonight's agenda and hold for 3 readings.
Yes.
Is there anything else to come before committee?
Yes, sir.
Seeing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn
So moved.
at 7:22.
This meeting of New Philadelphia City Council will now come to order. Would you please rise and remain standing for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Mr. Walker.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day in this beautiful city. Thank you for those that serve and protect, and all those people that live here and call it home and call it work. Be with this council this evening as we discuss and make decisions based on you, for this city. Be with us as we leave this building. We pray all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, and welcome to our July 22nd, 2024 council meeting. We'll start with roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Here.
Mr. Lanzer. Mr. Pace. Mrs. Ramos.
Here.
Mr. Rippett.
Here.
Mr. Simmelink.
Here.
Mr. Walker.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Everybody's had a chance to review the agenda or the additions to this agenda.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes, Mr. President, I have, first one I would like to add, proposed ordinance 24 to tonight's agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rippeth. Discussion by council or administration, roll call.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
All right, any other additions? Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Lanzer.
Mr. President, I'd also like to add proposed ordinance 21, 2024. to
Do I
tonight's
have a
agenda.
second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rippeth. Discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
No.
Mr. Simmelink.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
All right, now to entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the additions
I'll
tonight.
make that motion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Walker. Need a second. Mr. Simmelink, thank you. Any discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
No.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
All right, agenda has been approved. Minutes, everybody had a chance to review the minutes from our last council meeting. I'd like to thank Mr. Alonso for filling in for me last council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Cranville.
Second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ramos. Any discussion by administration, council, roll call.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mr. Rippett.
Yes.
Mr. Simmelink.
Yes.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
All right, minutes have been approved. Correspondence, Ms. Courtwright.
To Councilman Lanzer from President Kemp. This is dated July 16th, 2024. This is an email titled 2024 Replacement Pages with a Sample Ordinance as an attachment. President Kemp asked Councilman Lanzer to take the issue into his committee. To Council and Administration from Nick Lotzenheiser. This is dated July 16th, 2024. This is an email titled Support for Curbside Recycling Service. To Council and Administration from Mayor Day, dated July 17th, 2024. This is an email titled Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area, parentheses, DORA application. To Council and Administration from Mayor Day, dated July 22nd, 2024. This is an email titled Public Notice of DORA Meeting. To Council and Administration from Mayor Day, dated July 22nd, 2024. This is an email titled Materials for Tonight. And to Council and Administration from Mayor Day, dated July 22nd, 2024. This is the mayor's report. And that concludes correspondence for this evening, Mr.
All
President.
right, thank you, Ms. Courtwright. We're moving to administrative reports. First up, Mayor Day.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members, fellow administrators, and guests. A few things I want to touch on from the report that I sent you earlier today. Word of the coyote problems in the city reached Mark Finneran, who is the director of the U.S. Humane Society here in Ohio. So he sent me a link to the Humane Society's Coyote Management Guide, and you can download that guide. It's a PDF. You can see the URL in my mayor's report, which will be online. It contains very useful information on how not to attract coyotes, and how to safeguard your pets from becoming a food source. The city will also utilize the management plan to address coyote issues in the future. And as the guide recommends, please do not put out feed for deer. So if any of your neighbors are feeding deer, please ask them to stop, because that is an attraction for coyotes. If you'd like to learn more about the revisions that will be made to the city's zoning code, plan to attend a public meeting coming up at 6:30 PM on Wednesday, August 7th. It'll be here in the council chamber. Wendy Moeller of Compass Point Planning will present her completed revisions of the zoning code and the zoning map, and will answer any questions that you may have. City Planning Commission will then consider the comments when it meets on August 13th to decide whether to recommend the application of the adoption of the new code to City Council, and also the zoning map. Several people have asked me what's going on at Battle Motors. Excavators have been moving dirt in areas around the plant on Reeser Avenue Southeast. Well, what's going on is the company is expanding its parking lot, clearing land to build another 500,000 square foot addition, and constructing a test track for the vehicles it manufactures. Battle Motors has been a blessing to New Philadelphia for its support of our community and the manufacturing jobs it's created and will continue to create. Now I'm gonna make my way over to the podium, because we have some letters of commendation to award. If I could have the fire and police chief come up. This is for Officer Kyle Kelly and firefighter Justice Hevlin, and we'll start with Officer Kelly. His commendation reads as follows: on behalf of the residents of the city of New Philadelphia, Mayor Joel B. Day and Safety Director Greg Popham are pleased to commend Kyle Kelly for his life-saving actions on May 24th, 2024. That day, the New Philadelphia Fire Department was dispatched to a call for a person who was cut by a saw. Officer Kelly arrived at the scene prior to EMS and quickly and properly applied a tourniquet and pressure to the patient's left arm, effectively controlling the large amount of bleeding that he was experiencing. The patient was then transported to a Canton Hospital Trauma Center by our EMS crews. He was later found to have a laceration to his ulnar artery, which could have been a life-threatening injury within 2 to 5 minutes if the tourniquet had not been applied immediately. Thanks to Officer Kelly's quick action, the patient had a good outcome and was later discharged from the hospital. Officer Kelly's professionalism and compassion are in the highest tradition of the New Philadelphia Police Department, and I'm proud, Officer Kelly, to present you with this letter of commendation. Thank you, sir. Well done. Your family? You guys, you want a photo with family? Sure, Julie? Yeah, if there's, you got neighbors. Bring them in.
First, I'll take it with my camera. Perfect. I'll take a couple with your camera. All right, there you go.
All right. Does the entire fire department want to come in? On behalf of the residents of the city of New Philadelphia, Mayor Joel B. Day and Safety Director Greg Popham are pleased to commend Justin Hevlin, and here is his story. We want to commend him for his life-saving actions on July 13th, 2024. That afternoon, the New Philadelphia Fire Department's newest firefighter-paramedic, Justin Hevlin, and his wife Hannah were walking into Bueller's when they saw an elderly lady who appeared to be in distress near her car in the parking lot. Justin approached the lady to see if she needed help and discovered that her husband was sitting in the car unresponsive. He quickly assessed the gentleman and discovered that he was pulseless and in cardiac arrest. While Justin started CPR, Hannah called 911. Uricksville firefighter paramedic Travis Ballantyne was in the area, and he provided assistance. Shortly after, New Philadelphia's medics arrived on the scene and delivered 3 defibrillations to the patient. Upon arrival at Union Hospital, the gentleman was sitting up and talking. Without the quick thinking and skillful intervention of firefighter paramedic Hevelin and his wife Hannah, the outcome of this situation could have been gravely different. Justin's professionalism and compassion are in the highest tradition of the New Philadelphia Fire Department. And Justin and Hannah, I would like to present both of you with this certificate of commendation and thank you for your heroic efforts. Well done. Hannah, well done. Thank you. All right, back to work. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Yeah. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
That's a good way to end the report.
Love doing that.
Yes.
Love giving those letters of commendation.
Yeah,
You know, the workforce in the city is just awesome.
I agree. I
Really,
agree.
very proud of them. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Next up, Service Director, Mr. McAbeer.
Let Mr. Mayor go.
Your turn.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. A few things I want to talk about tonight. The 2024 paving has been completed. The list that was handed out in March, the only street we was unable to do was Oak Street, which we had from Grandview over to Cary due to the overrun that we had downtown a little bit, was over more than what was accounted for. But all the paving is completed throughout the city of New Philly. Also, I don't know if a lot of you have had dirty water today. We have a main water break down here on 3rd Street and the 200 block between St. Clair and Front. I did get an update on it. We had to cut a 10-foot piece out of there, spool a new 10-foot piece in. It wasn't a radial crack, we just put a clamp on. There's continue to work on that tonight. It should be done probably within the next couple of hours. They've been there since about noon today. Again, so they've spooled a 10-foot piece in there. So it's gonna take longer than usual, so, they'll continue to work on that. Also, the Franklin Square Phase 2 project, Woodford is mobilizing. See some of the equipment probably down on the Puritan property. They're gonna saw cut everything this week yet, and then start digging next week. So be confident of that, because it will be happening, and try to avoid that area, because they're gonna start on 4th Street, between Front and West High. They're gonna start there first and then work their way down, because they gotta redo the sanitary sewer. Also, I don't know if anybody had noticed that the pickleball courts and the tennis courts are now back up and going, so everybody is happy out there. The pickleballers are happy, and that's a rare statement, so. But they are at this time. And then also, Thursday, we have the pre-con meeting the first pre-con meeting for the connector trail, the Kent State Connector Trail. So I'll know more at the next council meeting. I'll be able to report on when possible start date may be for that. That's the end of my report.
Any questions for the Service Director?
Yeah,
Yes, Mike?
stadium looks to be on track.
Oh, yes. It seems I was out today, and that's what Tom and I was talking about. Actually, I believe they're a little ahead of schedule, because they didn't think they'd be able to put the sides on. But the way that the bleachers went in and the sides, and what I'll do is, before the next council meeting, I'll make sure I talk with Jeff Haney and actually Diversified also, and over at Lawless. But I just keep it tracked by what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
But I would say, I think for the 5th, it'll be pretty close. I thought it was pretty aggressive, but I think they're gonna make it.
Yeah, it was impressive how fast that
Yeah.
stuff went
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Or move on to Safety Director, Mr. Popham. Mr. President, no report this evening, thank you. All right, Auditor.
I have a short report.
Yes,
Just, today, we received the check for the new 2024 street sweeper. So we can go forward on getting that. And then also our Danielle, my replacement for my former job, has started today. So I apologize to anybody who's waiting for a check or requisition or any other information, but hopefully we can get things caught up pretty quick. It might be a little while, but we'll do our best. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Denton. All right, Auditor, Mr. Gerber.
No report, sir.
All right, Treasurer. Oh, sorry, Treasurer. Law Director, Mr. Bate.
Thank you, Mr. President. I
Trying
don't
to
have,
pass over you.
I don't have a report, but I'd like to request an executive session to discuss matters which are required to be kept confidential.
Do I have a motion to go into executive
I'll make
session?
that motion.
Mr. Walker, we need a second.
I'll say.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Simmerlink. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Mr. Simulink.
Yes.
Mr. Kreinbell.
Yes.
Mr. Lanzer.
Yes.
Mrs. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Rippon.
Yes.
All right, we're going to executive session after the legislative. Planning Commission, Joe Day.
Mr. President,
Mayor.
the Planning Commission will be meeting on the August 13th. And as I indicated in my mayor's report, they'll be considering the recommendation of the new zoning code and zoning map to city council.
Should be a meeting we should all attend.
That's at 1 PM
Yes.
on the 13th.
All right, thank you, Mayor Day. Board of Zoning Appeals, Mr. McAbeer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board of Zoning and Appeals meet here in council chambers on August 13th at 5 PM. And I'd like to give an update on the water leak. Since then, I've heard the water is back on. So
All right.
I was pretty close. Like, you gotta do the groundwork now, so by the time they fill the hole in, they're probably another couple hours, but the water is back on down there.
All right, great news. All right, Airport Commission, Mr. Lanzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right, Mr. Payson here for the Park Board, Health Board, Mr. Simmerlink.
No report.
All right, move into our council committee reports, Finance, Mr. Ribbeth.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report tonight.
All right, Public Works and Economic Development, Mr. Lanzer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Public Works and Economic Development met this evening at 7:15. We had two items to discuss. One was proposed ordinance 24. The committee voted, which is in regards to updating our codified ordinances. And committee voted 3-0 to send that, to add that to tonight's agenda. And the other item was proposed ordinance 21, and that's in regard to the sanitation rates. And we voted 2-1 to add that to tonight's agenda also.
All right, thank you. Safety, Health, and Service, Mr. Simmerlink.
No report today.
All right, zoning and annexation, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
All right, salary, Mr. Granville.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
And Mitch is not here for Parks and Cemetery. Contact and Special, Mr. Walker.
Keep it going. Thank you, Mr. President. No report this evening.
All right.
All right.
All right, it's time now for the visitors' comments. The floor is now open for visitors' comments. Anyone wishing to address council should rise, state their name and address. Address all comments to the chair. You'll have 5 minutes. Anyone wish to speak this evening?
I'd like to speak.
Would you come to the podium, please?
A little taller than the mayor, I guess. My name is Ryan Barnaby. I live at 724 Oak Street Northwest here in New Philadelphia. I wanted to speak about the proposed sanitation rate increase. I personally am against the increase. $3 a month might not seem like much dollar-wise, but as a percentage from the current rate to the increase, it'd be a 20% increase. And I think council can maybe get a little bit more creative with finding some alternatives, maybe to make some cuts, whether that be the recycling program or going to a tiered rate, as Mrs. Ramos suggested, beyond just a blanket 20% increase across the board. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Council comments, any council comments this evening? Yes, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you, Mr. President. For most of my professional career, I worked in our community as a case manager, counselor, and advocate for individuals with substance abuse, severe mental illness, developmental disabilities, and other individuals. Given my background and training, I am deeply concerned about creating a DORA, designated outdoor refreshment area, which is open carry alcohol in a designated cup for several reasons. One, it would change our community, culture, values, and our community norms about open carry alcohol, especially in front of minors, and those in recovery and those who struggle with alcohol. Remember, children and youth catch more than what is taught. Increasing accessibility increases use. Two, the message relayed to our youth and others would be, one cannot enjoy art, events, shopping without an open carry alcoholic drink in their hand. In fact, at recent council meetings, local business owners, most of whom are liquor sales permitted establishments, stated the reasons for having open carry alcohol in a special cup is to enhance shopping, increase tourism, enhance quality of life, make the city more livable, increase the festive atmosphere, increase revenue for downtown businesses, help the city grow, and those are quotes. Number three, a DORA may negatively affect those who are in recovery and those struggling with alcohol. Remember the message about changing our culture, values, and community norms in our great city of New Philadelphia. I personally do not want to see any stumbling blocks put in the way of an individual's recovery. We all want to be able to enjoy the downtown events and want them to be held in a safe and nurturing environment. A DORA would remove controls that parents have in exposing their children to alcohol by allowing it in the public space. The alternative for those families is not to enjoy the downtown events during a DORA. One speaker suggested having alcohol-permitted events separate from family-oriented events, or split the times of the event for an open carry alcohol. For example, 10 to 6 is family time, 6 to 10 is DORA time. That way, all can enjoy this special event freely. I want to thank the various residents of the city who have bravely come to council to share their own recovery stories, their concerns, and their opposition to a DORA. Again, that's open carry alcohol in a special cup. I thank you. It takes a lot of bravery to do that. In addition to the brave souls who have come to council to share, others have made phone calls and comments to me. There is also a petition of 405 signatures against a DORA. And yes, people do know what that is. The signatures on the petitions are from people who live here in the city, live in the county, or are tourists in our city that come to shop and spend money in the downtown New Philadelphia. The signees of the petition against the DORA also include 5 downtown business owners and some area pastors. Just like the people who live here spend money here, why would there be desire to discount them and their voice and replace their dollars with the dollars of more tourists? Currently, there are not many downtown retailers open after 5 p.m. in the downtown area. I wonder who the enthusiastic retailers are that support the DORA mentioned in the mayor's application. I know of at least 5 who do not. For the past several months, we have heard comment from the public and the liquor permit holder establishments regarding the DORA. Again, designated outdoor refreshment area. The refreshment is open carry alcohol in a designated cup. This initiative has been heavily pushed by certain downtown business people and the NPAC organization. Although I am sure that the same business people do a cost-benefit analysis and have data to base their decisions on, none of this has been provided to City Council. Only anecdotal stories about how great open carry alcohol would be for our community. Increase tourism, enhance quality of life, enhance shopping experience, make the city more livable, increase the festive atmosphere, increase revenue for downtown businesses, help the city grow. Again, no data, no cost analysis benefits provided, nothing. My own research provided no data. I've looked for it. Again, it's just great. A local businessman said a DORA would cost the city taxpayers nothing. Now, when you read the application, you see that's not true. It will cost the city the price of signage, placement, extra sanitation, extra safety forces, and they should be there. Consult cost in writing the application for the DORA, and the list goes on. Alternative suggestions would be to issue permits for alcohol-based events rather than establish a DORA. A beer garden, as included a downtown redesign, would be acceptable, and the liquor sales permitted businesses could use that venue. Importantly, parents could control alcohol exposure to their children and still enjoy the community event. All businesses strive to increase their bottom line, but let's not strive to put profit over people. But put the great residents of our city and our county over profit. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ramos. I know those are all, those comments that when we have our public hearing on the, August 19th?
Yes.
Those are all good comments. We can have some good discussion. And like I said, we can move forward if we want, up or down. I think we've talked about this for months. So now's the time to either say yes or no. So we're having a public hearing. Council will be able to make their comments. The public will be able to make their comments, ask questions of that at that meeting. So I think you got comments. Those will be good to bring up again on the 19th.
Yes, and I just want to say, in the committee of the whole, it's supposed to be a discussion. Besides the public comment, we've only
Yes.
allowed 30 minutes for that. That's not much time. But we should be able to, council will be able to offer tweaks and suggestions to the application. I have more to say on that because I have read it. But we should be able to come together with some ideas
Yes.
to make it great.
I agree. Any other comments from council? If not, we'll move into our legislative agenda.
Ordinance number 21, 2024, an ordinance by the council of the city of New Philadelphia, Ohio, to increase all sanitation accounts by $3 per month. Sanitation account bills mailed in the month of November 2024 shall reflect the rate increase, and declaring an emergency. First reading.
Is there any action by council on this resolution, ordinance tonight? All right, hearing none, be held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
Ordinance number 24, 2024, an ordinance to approve, adopt, and enact the current replacement pages to the codified ordinances and declaring an emergency, first reading.
Is there any action taken by council on this ordinance tonight? Here then, we held for our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
And that concludes legislation for this evening, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Ms. Corbett. Well, now we'll take a 2-minute recess and we'll go into executive session. So, Rosalia. question. Is there any unfinished old business for tonight? Any new business for tonight? Hearing none, entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move, Mr. President.
About 8:13, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
That's in the Senate statement.